Are you one of those type of people who have the inclination that they're meant for more? I would assume you are since you clicked on this video, and if you did, this video is definitely meant for you. If you guys do not know, my name is Justin. I make these videos to share my journey on achieving my goals and also just my self-improvement, what I learned along the way. And I had this video idea today that I think will help a lot of people. So if you guys do enjoy this content and are interested in following me along this journey, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe because we will definitely be posting a lot and we're trying to build a community to learn from each other. So the reason why I said that you're in the right place and I'm happy that you clicked on this video is to show you that or explain to you that if you have the inclination that you are meant for more, you definitely are. That's just the actual fact. And what we're going to be covering today is ghost mode. You know, it's this state of being to where you are here, but you're also not, if that makes sense. And that when it comes to like community people, things around you, like you are more aware and like locked in than you've ever been before, but people feel like you're so distance away. And I know it's a tough feeling, but it's actually like the best thing that could ever happen to you if you really think about it. At least that's what it was for me. So, ghost mode. What is it? Ghost mode is the ultimate lock in when you are so focused on your goals that nothing's going to stop you from achieving them and you don't go out with your friends and you don't party, you don't drink, you don't do things that distract you, you only do positive things. That's ghost mode. Usually people like have like a ghost mode or a winter arc to where once it gets cold out here, because I stay in Michigan, once it gets cold out here, people start to hibernate and start doing the things that they want to do. But like this is the time of year that a lot of people do it, but this is also similar to monk mode. You choosing a certain time of year that you are dominating everything. I mean, personally, I want to do that all year round, but like specifically, like no bullshit dominating. And that's what ghost mode is. If you guys can understand, is that ghost mode is not something that's done easily. The simple way that I laid out my ghost mode was one, if you're not using AI to figure stuff out faster and kind of do things quick, you're slacking. Uh, I was like, damn, what do I want for my future? And when I started asking myself that question, I really was like, okay, what can I do to help me figure this out? And so I went through, I was like, hey, ChatGPT, whatever, I was like, ask me a series of questions, up to 50 questions that help me to hone in exactly what I want out of life. And after I did that, like I know it wasn't anything crazy because like, oh, you talk to ChatGPT about your future, da 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 da. No, I got clear. It's the same thing if I were to take out a pen and paper and answer a bunch of questions that I found on the internet or something along those lines about chasing your dreams, or if you watched a YouTube video to figure it out. It's the same exact thing. And then I was like, okay, I have what I want out of life in my mind, and I know what my goals are. Well, actually, it was I have what I want out of life in my mind. What are my goals then? And I created them and turned them into goals and things that I could actually like, okay, this is my goal. For example, I want to have, $5 million in the bank by 2030. Like that's a very easy goal, truthfully. At least in this mode, it's a very easy goal. Um, that's 5 more years. But when it comes down to it, after I got my goals, then I was like, okay, so you know exactly what I want. You know exactly what the goal actually is. How do I fill the gap from where I am right now to then? That was 20 questions later of where I'm at currently, what's going on in my life now. And then it was like, okay, well, now what do I do? And from there, it mapped out a plan. If there had to be on a certain budget mark, okay, budgeting, cool. That's something that successful people do. Highly successful and wealthy people budget their money. They know exactly where it's going, what is when it's coming in, everything along those lines. So budgeting it, part of ghost mode, you know, exercising. I need to be in physically good shape. One, if I need to be able to do this on a daily basis, you need to take care of your vehicle, right? And then it's like, okay, I need to eat more because I don't have that much energy. Boom. Okay. Like this is what I want. These are the goals from what I want. And this is how I fill the gap. And this is the way I have to live my life. And that is the going ghost mode right there. There is time for balance, absolutely. But for me, my balance is at the end of life, right? My balance is after I've already achieved all my goals. Like that's the end goal is to find that balance. but I can't find that balance unless I reach my other goals, if that makes sense. And so going in ghost mode, it's like, okay, well, there's no more drinking. There's no more going out. There's no more spending money on ridiculous things. If it's not a necessity, cut it. You know, when your waking hours, you need to be productive. And it was like, okay, well, I struggle to be productive and disciplined. So what do I have to do? Well, no brainer. You have to just start for one, but also you have to learn. You have to learn skills, you have to learn things, and, like, the skill of learning how to set up systems is probably one of the fastest skills that you can pick up. It is working backwards from the answer. So if you say you wanna make $1,000,000 in the next year and you work it backwards, you figure out exactly the dollar amount of money that you have to save each month to accumulate $1,000,000 at the end of the year, and then it's like, "Okay, now I have a new goal. I know I need to make, X amount of money each month. How do I do that?" And you work it backwards and you set up a system. Okay, well, then that's this much per week and it's this much per day. Okay, how do I make that much money per day or per week? Well, I work a full-time job right now. This is how much extra money I have to spare after budgeting. Awesome. Okay, how can I bring in the extra money that's needed? Well, there's these side hustles. What's the best side hustle to get into? And then it just goes so on and so on. And you put the time into learning these things. And the whole thing with the ghost mode is that, like, when you're learning these skills, you're locked in. So it's like, okay, well, now I have 6 extra hours, 7 extra hours in my day that I get to fill with learning, improving, and getting better at these skills so that I can actually reach my goal in time. And that is like the best thing about it. And there are downsides to it. Don't get me wrong. This is what this channel is about. Like, the downsides is it gets lonely as hell in ghost mode, kind of in the name. You kind of ghost people, but, like, you don't actually have to ghost people. You don't have to be rude about it. You can be like, "Hey guys, like, I need to focus on my life," and just kind of lighten up a little bit, do what you gotta do, and just back up. And so it does get lonely because you spend a lot of your time alone. You'll be sitting alone reading. You'll be working extra. You'll be at the gym. You'll be listening to podcasts, doing things that pick you up and lift you closer to your goal. And that stuff gets lonely. There's hard days. There's times you don't want to do it. But what I tell you is that, like, as you push through this ghost mode, it gets easier and easier. The habits that you start to form of waking up early, reading pages of books, reading for time frames, writing down your goals, journaling every night, working an extra 3, 4 hours a day after your normal job. Like, all these different things become easier and easier and more habitual. And that is amazing, right? If you ever read the book Atomic Habits, it'll say in there that habits are something that are supposed to be done, or habits are formed to help lighten the load on the mind. So it once a habit is formed in something, it actually gets easier and easier to the point to where it's subconscious. Because, like, a good example is, like, do you guys ever think about when you actually have to tie your shoe, or can you just tie your shoe real quick and keep on going with your day? Like, is that difficult? Probably not now in your 20s, but back when you were learning how to tie your shoe, that was like the hardest thing in the world, but you've done it for how many years now? And that goes with everything. If you wake up every single day at 5 a.m., which you don't have to, a disclaimer, you do not have to wake up at 5 a.m. You have to have a good schedule. 5 a.m. is not the thing that you have to do. It's a good one to do. I mean, I like it, but, like, you don't have to do it. But if you wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, man, those first couple of weeks, those are gonna suck. Absolutely. But you do it for a year and a half, and you're like, wow, I wake up before my alarm clock. I'm ready to go. Like, this is just normal. And it's because you built up the habit of doing so. And obviously, throughout the entire thing, you figure out what you're capable of, how to do it better, and how to achieve your dreams. And you actually do. Like, that's the whole thing. If you go into a legitimate ghost mode and you hold yourself accountable and you take action and you do these things, I guarantee you will not be the person at the end of it. And you can set a time frame for it. Say it's like monk mode, where people do monk mode for 3 months, or they'll do it for 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months, and then they'll take a slight break from it. And I mean, that is one way that you can do it, and you should try. But okay, this week I'm gonna do this, and, like, actually hold yourself accountable, and then like test it a little bit. But realistically, once you fall in love with the process, with the video that I posted today, or yesterday, like, you guys are definitely going to understand what I mean. Because once you start, you don't want to stop. You fall in love with it. But if you guys did enjoy this video and you do like these kind of talks that we have, just make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe down below, because I'll be posting these as much as possible. And if you have any questions about it, just let me know. Like, just Do what you have to do. And if it's going ghost to make sure that you can get away from distractions, go ghost. If you made it this far in the video, make sure you drop a ghost down in the comments down below and I'll reply to each and every one of you guys. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. See ya.